That's another good one.
Oh, yeah.
To the NBA, Steph Curry has a pelvic contusion. And as painful as that sounds for Steph, the question is how much would it hurt his team? The Dubs in Atlanta playing the Hawks. The Aussie Dyson Daniels, the great barrier thief, takes it from Draymond. And look at that finish. Hawks up 8 at that point. Final seconds of the first quarter. They're up 15. Trae Young appears to go on walkabout, talking about Australia. Like a lot of steps there, not called. And Karis LeVert at the first quarter buzzer. Let's see, one. Skipping around a little bit. There's another. And sliding over there, and then just doesn't come over
That's like
here.
5. Nope.
How is that not called? See, Steve Kerr's a gog. He has no clue. Hawks led by 17 after one fourth quarter. Warriors trying to get back in it. Jimmy Butler had 25. They're scratching and clawing. They're down 11. Moses Moody, catch, shoot, 3. It's an 8-point game. But on the next Hawks possession, Trae, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Hawks by 10. And then Young on Onyeka Okongwu. Hello. Young with 25 and 10 dimes. And the Hawks knock off the Warriors, 124-115.
For sure. Monica, 2 days in a row. Who's better than me? How are we feeling, girl?
I'm good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. All right, what would happen if the Warriors needed to rest Steph Curry?
Actually, their schedule, Molly, is a little bit favorable, S.A. Good morning. I don't think it's the end of the world. The thing we have not really discussed about the Warriors' ascent is how good they've been on defense with the addition of Jimmy Butler. And perhaps it has been discussed by some. But as you look ahead at their schedule, the next, what is that, four games on the road? I think they should be all right. The Heat obviously have been in the depths of despair since Jimmy left. That's obviously going to be emotional. Pelicans, Spurs, all teams that are looking ahead to next season. Hawks could be a little interesting, but I'm not too concerned about that. And so if he needed to rest, I'm okay. This is a team that in the last 15 games, they have the best defensive rating in the league. They're averaging like 10 steals a game. And Jimmy Butler, as we know, is someone who is accustomed to putting a team on his shoulders should he need to. I don't think that they can withstand too many more injuries, so knock on wood and hope everybody stays well, but I'm not too concerned about this. The tricky thing is looking at those standings and trying to hold their position. But I think they should be okay for the next 4.
They should be okay. They should win at least 3 of them. But the flip side to that, Eminem, is that they have to be concerned because they're 2 games behind the Grizzlies, but they're 1.5 games ahead of the Clippers. Now, why does that matter? If you look at the Golden State Warriors record this season, they're 0-3 against the Clippers. They're 0-3 against the Lakers. They're 0-2 against the Rockets. And so when you think about seedings, it matters because those are teams they haven't necessarily had success against. They've got winning records against, ironically, against the Thunder and the Rockets, the top 2 seeds in the Western Conference, but they've struggled against the others. So you have to take that into consideration because the likelihood is that you're going to face one of the others before you face the one of the 2 seeds. And that's what I'm looking at right now in terms of their positioning. Steph Curry being out, Jimmy Butler said it best. We're not going to be able to turn the ball over. We can't commit a bunch of fouls because the guy that can erase all of our problems would be out. So it definitely puts an inordinate amount of pressure on them. He can handle it. Draymond can handle it. Can Kuminga handle it? Can Podziemski handle it? Can Moody handle it? Etc. That's going to be the question mark. It can be very, very interesting to say the least, no doubt. That's who they were going up against. I understand they started off shooting badly. They missed like 13 of their first 14 threes, ended up shooting like 8 of 33 from three-point range, if I remember correctly. We know that's an aberration. Anytime you got Steph Curry on the court, that's an aberration. But still, you're going up against the Denver Nuggets, and the Denver Nuggets did not play with Nikola Jokic. They did not play with Jamal Murray. And they did not play with Christian Braun. I mean, all 3 of them was out, elbow, ankle, and foot injuries respectively. And still in all, the Denver Nuggets beat them. Why? Because Aaron Gordon dropped 38. Because Russell Westbrook, who we don't say and rave about enough, man, what a resurrection this dude has been with his career, what he's done for Denver. He's been a spark plug, and Energizer Bunny had a triple-double last night. 12 points, 16 assists, and 12 rebounds. I just can't say enough about Russell Westbrook. I know it was a disaster in L.A. with the Lakers, but it was great with the Clippers, and it's even greater with the Denver Nuggets. I can't give him more praise than that. I mean, what a future Hall of Famer. What a special performance by him as well. And, of course, Michael Porter had 21 and 10. I'm just looking at them without Jokic, without Murray, without Braun. you still beat the Warriors. And I think that, again, I think it's an aberration. But in the moment, you can't take away from what Denver did last night, considering they won 12 straight with Butler in the lineup. They won a 7-game winning streak, and all of that got neutralized. And you didn't even have your two biggest horses on the court with you when you did it. Can't say enough about that loss to Denver last night. Major props to Denver, but it was a bad thing for the Warriors.
Well, I co-sign that. It was horrible because we're talking about the Warriors as being a championship contending team. That's all I heard. They had won 12 or 13. They was on this 7-8 game winning streak, and yada yada. They got Jimmy Butler. Nobody gets to the free throw line more. Nobody makes more free throws. Steph Curry is having a resurgence. He was having a great season, even better since Jimmy Butler arrived. This is what we're talking about. No Nikola Jokic, no Jamal Murray, no Christian Brown, and you lose at home? Look, I understand the Wolves, but no one is talking about the Wolves as being a championship contending team like we were over the last 3 weeks to a month, talking about the Warriors and since the addition of Jimmy Butler. This was a cataclysmic loss. Now, I'm not saying they can't right the ship, but we're talking about one game last night, the Warriors versus the Pacers, or the Pacers versus the Timberwolves, or the Warriors versus the Nuggets. When you don't have the MVP, he's looking like he's going to be second in the MVP. You don't have Jokic, who's a 30-point walking triple-double. You don't have Jamal Murray, who's the second best player on the team. And Christian Brown, who's been a godsend. He's played very well on both ends of the court. And you lose at home when red hot as you've been by the Warriors. This was a horrible loss. It's not even close. And I know they had a last-second shot, but this game was never close, if you ask me.
Honestly, I want to sit here and give my answer, but I'm still distracted by your cold open and you thinking that you can get buckets on me. I'm not going to lie. Me and Steve Neighbors, you and Molly, we saw Stephen A. take down the TNT crew. That man practiced and he shot his shot. So I have to give Stephen A. a little bit of respect.
Oh, he wasn't talking about on the court. He was talking about on the show.
Oh, no. I got both of them in my sleep. But, honestly, I agree.
Nah.
Look,
I'll take Shay and I on the show all day, every day.
Look, I'm not going to argue with you, Molly. They too, they need to behave because yesterday they were trying to high five and do the whole bro thing versus me. That's not going to happen today, okay? But the main reason why this was a horrible loss for the Golden State Warriors, if you go to our ESPN app, there's a nice little fine line that separates 6 from 7. That's the difference of the playoffs and the play-in. And I say you want to avoid that line like it's a crime, especially when you have Steph Curry, who just turned 37 years old. And I feel like Steve Kerr, his comments after the game spoke volumes and said, man, Steph is tired. And I don't think it's just a physical tired. This is a guy that typically, we just celebrated him scoring or having 4,000 threes in NBA history. This is a guy that is known for getting those threes